Hello, Namaskar. This is CVR English and it's time to roll the special primetime news hour today with me, Anukriti Sharma. Viewers, today is a very special day and for many reasons. And one of those reasons, today marks a significant milestone. On this special Gandhi Jayanti, India is lovingly remembering Bapu for various reasons, and one of those very important reasons is that today, India completes 10 years of the Swachh Bharat mission with a clean sweep. It's been a transformative initiative and it's changed India's sanitation landscape entirely. A mission to make India cleaner, healthier and more sustainable and better for its citizens. Right from saving lives to empowering women, the impact of this mission has been staggering in the last few years. The mission has achieved remarkable feats and I'm going to actually walk you through some of them today. Number one, right off the bat, right on top, there is of course improved sanitation. We've constructed over nearly 90 million toilets across the country in the last few years. 36 states and union territories, 706 districts, over 603,000 villages, all of these, they are now ODF or open defecation free. There's also obviously because of that the enhanced health benefits across the nation. So what do we mean when we say that? There are of course reduced diarrhea related deaths that are now taking place. There are reduced malaria cases. Stillbirth cases have also reduced and households in the open defecation free villages are saving an average of 50,000 rupees annually on health expenses because of all of these changes. Now, one more effect of all of these changes, and this is a particularly important one, viewers, the empowering of women, empowerment of women. 93% of women now say that they feel safer because they have access to clean toilets. They aren't getting the cringe-worthy feels when they are wanting to go out to defecate. They are being able to feel for themselves a sense of respect and dignity every time they're able to use a washroom. Cities across the nation are taking up the cleanliness charge of collective, cooperative and collaborative efforts as well. And this decade-long journey represents more than just infrastructure development for the nation, viewers. It's a testament of India's unwavering commitment to its citizens' well-being. And as we celebrate this achievement, we, on this special occasion of Gandhi Jayanti, will take you through Bapu's journey, India's grassroots hero, the community leader, the ordinary citizen of this nation who led our country to independence and went on to be called the Mahatma of our nation. Take a look at this Swachhata Abhiyan.
शक्ति मंत्री माननीय श्री C.R. पाटिल, केंद्रीय आवासन एवं शहरी मामलों के राज्य मंत्री माननीय श्री तोखन साहू तथा केंद्रीय जल शक्ति राज्य मंत्री डॉक्टर राजभूषण चौधरी का भी हम स्वागत करते हैं। और स्वागत यहाँ उपस्थित सफाई मित्रों, ग्राम पंचायत के सदस्य, यूथ ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स, स्टार्टअप्स, इंडस्ट्री पार्टनर्स, विभिन्न राज्यों तथा केंद्र सरकार के प्रतिनिधि और ऑनलाइन हमारे साथ जुड़े सभी देशवासियों का भी हम अत्यंत हर्षित भाव से स्वागत करते हैं। देवी और सज्जनों, स्वच्छ भारत मिशन के 10 वर्ष।
Indeed, the Bengal Lancers, escorting Lord and Lady Mountbatten, had
पूर्ण स्वच्छता के साथ स्वभाव स्वच्छता, संस्कार स्वच्छता बना है हर देशवासी का संकल्प। स्वच्छ भारत अभियान की 10 वर्ष की यात्रा में सफाई, शौचालय निर्माण से आरंभ हुआ अभियान कचरा निस्तारण, वेस्ट टू वेल्थ, से नो टू प्लास्टिक जैसी पहल से होता हुआ आज रिड्यूस, रीयूज, रिसाइकल जैसे कॉन्सेप्ट पर आगे बढ़ रहा है। इसी कॉन्सेप्ट पर तैयार 2 उपहार आज माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी को भेंट कर उनका अभिनंदन करने के लिए मैं केंद्रीय आवासन एवं शहरी मामलों के मंत्री माननीय श्री मनोहर लाल खट्टर तथा केंद्रीय जल शक्ति मंत्री माननीय श्री C.R. पाटिल जी को आमंत्रित करती हूँ। पहले माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी को भागलपुर के एक महिला समूह द्वारा मलबरी सिल्क तथा कुकून के कचरे से हथकरघे पर बुनी विशेष सिल्क शॉल भेंट की जा रही है। दूसरा उपहार भी अत्यंत विशेष है। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी को तेलंगाना के वारंगल जिले के गांव गंगा देवी पल्ली के एक ग्रामीण घर में 2 गड्ढों वाले शौचालय में तैयार सोना खाद भेंट की जा रही है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद माननीय मंत्री जी। वेस्ट टू वेल्थ का अनुपम उदाहरण है ये दोनों उपहार। और अब मैं केंद्रीय जल शक्ति मंत्री माननीय श्री CR पाटिल जी को
Viewers, about a month ago, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the nation on the Quit India Movement Day, noting how Mahatma Gandhi's call united all the Indians in a final collective fight for freedom. The Prime Minister also emphasized that, inspired by this historic movement, every citizen today is standing against things like injustice, corruption, dynasty rule and appeasement, and echoing the call for Quit India. Take a look at this special report in the voice of Modi ji himself.
This was the scene in Karachi at the meeting of the Constituent Assembly. Liaquat Ali Khan moved a resolution concerning the Pakistan national flag and handed one round. Jogindranath Mandal, leader of the Untouchables, was present, and the only woman member of the Assembly was Begum Shahbaz. Later, accompanied by Lady Mountbatten, the Viceroy came to launch the Dominion of Pakistan. It was on his last day as Viceroy, the day before he became Governor-General of the neighbouring Dominion of India. He now read the King's message. Sitting beside Lady Mountbatten was Mr. Jinnah's sister, Miss Fatima Jinnah. Next, the inauguration of Mr. Jinnah as Governor-General. He takes the oath of allegiance to King George VI as head of Pakistan. That's the Governor-General's personal flag. And afterwards, the flag of the new Dominion itself was broken. The scene in Delhi was typical of hundreds of towns throughout the vast territory that was about to become the Dominion of India. Cows, being held sacred by the Hindus, are never driven off the pavements, and all the familiar activities to be witnessed in this teeming city were being carried on as usual. But there was an undercurrent of pent-up excitement, for everyone knew that India, Hindustan India, was now to be free and independent. Crowds gathered throughout the day outside the Constituent Assembly building, for that night the appointment of the Governor-General was to be confirmed. At midnight, the actual transfer of power took place. The Assembly was addressed by the President, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and the Prime Minister, Pandit Nehru. Next day, huge crowds again assembled, this time outside Government House. They wanted to see the important leaders arrive for today's big ceremony. Sardar Patel, Minister of Law, Sardar Baldev Singh, Minister of Defence. And from the roof, Pandit Nehru surveys the vast throng, which was so great that it held up the arrival of the principal personality. Indeed, the Bengal Lancers escorting Lord and Lady Mountbatten had considerable difficulty in making a lane through the hundreds of thousands of people gathered there. The occasion was the swearing in of Lord Mountbatten as Governor-General of the Dominion of India. The fact that the ex-Viceroy was to hold the office is itself a great tribute to his work for the Indian people. As further evidence of the popularity of the Governor-General and his wife, there are these scenes of their attendance in the afternoon at a sort of
In fact, viewers, from the Champaran movement to the Quit India, let's take a look at the major struggle movements led by father of the nation Mahatma Gandhi.
During this great moment in India's history was the ceremony of the flag in the evening. Various units of the Indian forces were to have been inspected by Lord Mountbatten, but as it turned out, he was quite unable to leave his carriage, so great was the crowd. But the national flag, the saffron, white and green tricolour, was publicly unfurled. For the rest, it was crowds, 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 all rejoicing over the birth of the Dominion of India. But the national flag, the saffron, white and green tricolour, was publicly unfurled. For the rest, it was crowds, 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 all rejoicing over the birth of the Dominion of India. This was the scene in Karachi at the meeting of the Constituent Assembly. Liaquat Ali Khan moved a resolution concerning the Pakistan national flag and handed one round. Jogindranath Mandal, leader of the Untouchables, was present, and the only woman member of the Assembly was Begum Shahbaz. Later, accompanied by Lady Mountbatten, the Viceroy came to launch the Dominion of Pakistan. It was on his last day as Viceroy, the day before he became Governor-General of the neighbouring Dominion of India.
Or religious leader, and a worldwide protest took place to fight the collapsing status of the Caliph. Gandhi became a prominent spokesperson of the All India Muslim Conference and returned the medals he had received from the empire during his Indian Ambulance Corps days in South Africa. His role in the Khilafat movement made him a national leader in no time. Non-cooperation movement. The non-cooperation movement was one of the most popular and significant agitations led by Mahatma Gandhi. He had realized that the British had been able to be in India only because of the cooperation they received from the Indians. He convinced people that non-cooperation was the key to independence. This ominous day of the Jallianwala Bagh massacre triggered the non-cooperation movement. After this, Gandhi started the Swarajya or self-governance movement, a key agitation towards India's way for freedom. Salt March. Also known as Dandi movement, Gandhi's Salt March is considered to be a pivotal incident in the history of freedom struggle. Gandhi started a satyagraha campaign against the salt tax in March 1930. He marched 388 kilometers from Ahmedabad to Dandi in Gujarat to make salt. Thousands of people joined him to mark one of the biggest marches in Indian history. Quit India movement. During World War II, Gandhi was determined to push the British Empire out of India. Gandhi protested strongly and said that the Indians cannot be involved in a war that is in favor of democratic purposes when India itself is not a free country. On 8 August 1942, at the Bombay session of the All India Congress Committee, Mahatma Gandhi introduced the resolution to start a Quit India movement. By the end of World War II, Britain's position in the world had changed dramatically and the demand for independence could no longer be ignored. This is why the Quit India movement remains an important milestone in India's freedom struggle.
In fact, the nation is celebrating the birth anniversary of the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. And on this occasion, Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself visited Rudrarj Ghat to pay homage to Bapu. Upon arriving, PM Modi ji paid floral tributes to Mahatma Gandhi, reflecting on Bapu's immense contributions with folded hands and a bowed head, honoring his legacy and principles that still continue to inspire the entire nation. The nation is paying tribute to Mahatma Gandhi on the occasion of Gandhi Jayanti, and in this context, Congress MP and leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha Rahul Gandhi has also paid his homage to Bapu on his birth anniversary, joined by K.C. Venugopal. Their presence underscored the importance of Gandhi's legacy and the unity in honoring his contributions to our nation.
कांपे थर 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 सुनकर उनका नाम रे थे वो चलते सीना तान गे ऐनक पहने लाठी पकड़े चलते थे वो शान से जालिम कांपे थर 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 सुनकर उनका नाम रे पद था उनका छोटा सा और सरपट उनकी चाल रे दुबले से पतले से थे वो चलते सीना तान गए ऐनक पहने लाठी पकड़े चलते थे वो शान से जालिम कांपे थर 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 सुनकर उनका नाम रे पद था उनका छोटा सा और सरपट उनकी चाल रे दुबले से पतले से थे वो चलते सीना तान गए ऐनक पहने लाठी पकड़े चलते थे वो शान से जालिम कांपे थर 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 सुनकर उनका नाम रे
It is, after all, the birth anniversary of the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, and the Swachhata Abhiyan that I told you about is being conducted nationwide. And in this context, Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav has paid his tribute to Gandhiji in Kolkata, West Bengal. Following the tribute, he also actively participated in the Swachhata Abhiyan, which is being carried out throughout the country today, promoting the message of cleanliness and hygiene by engaging in cleanliness activities. His efforts, viewers, have underscored the importance of sanitation and cleanliness as vital aspects of Gandhian legacy.
भाई भाई चल रहा है चलिए चलिए थोड़ा सा ऊपर जगह बनाया यही तो महोदय से सादर निवेदन कि राष्ट्रपिता महात्मा गांधी के चित्र पर माल्यार्पण कर हटना भाई भाई चल रहा है चलिए चलिए थोड़ा सा ऊपर जगह बनाया यही तो महोदय से सादर निवेदन कि राष्ट्रपिता महात्मा गांधी के चित्र पर माल्यार्पण कर मैडम महोदय से सादर निवेदन कि राष्ट्रपिता महात्मा गांधी के चित्र पर माल्यार्पण कर
The new Chief Minister of Delhi, Atishi, and Delhi Assembly Speaker Ram Nivas Goyal, they have also paid their floral tributes to Mahatma Gandhi on his birth anniversary at the Delhi Assembly. Their homage highlights the significance of Gandhian values and contributions to the nation, reinforcing the importance of his legacy in contemporary society, the society that we live in today. The ceremony served as a reminder of the enduring impact of Gandhi's principles of peace, non-violence, and social justice.
देखिए, आज महात्मा गांधी जी का जन्म दिवस है। मुझे लगता है कि शायद ही कोई दूसरा व्यक्ति उनके जैसा इस दुनिया में रहा हो, जिन्होंने प्रेम और शांति के रास्ते से सत्याग्रह करना सिखाया, सच्चाई के लिए लड़ना सिखाया, न्याय के लिए संघर्ष करना सिखाया। मुझे लगता है कि आज के इस तानाशाही के दौर में जो गांधी जी के सत्याग्रह का तरीका है, जो गांधी जी ने न्याय के लिए, सत्य के लिए जो संघर्ष करने का तरीका दिखाया, मुझे लगता है कि वो आज के दौर में शायद पहले से भी ज्यादा जरूरी हो गया है।
Today happens to be the 154th birth anniversary of Bapu, and painter Zuhaib Khan, he's created a remarkable 7-foot-long portrait of Gandhiji depicting his journey from his childhood to his old age, using mere coal as his medium. Imagine, viewers, just using coal as a medium to depict Gandhi's entire journey from childhood to old age. Zuhaib emphasized that a person's ability to enhance their personality can transform them from an ordinary individual into a Mahatma. His artwork serves as a tribute to Gandhi's legacy and inspires others to embrace personal growth and change as well.
मैं उत्तर प्रदेश के शहर अमरोहा में रहता हूँ। मैं एक चित्रकार हूँ और कोयले से दीवार पर चित्र बनाता हूँ। मैंने आज ये 7 फुट का महात्मा गांधी जी की जीवन यात्रा पर एक चित्र बनाया है, जिसमें मैंने उन्हें बचपन से लेकर और बुढ़ापे तक दिखाया है। इस पर मैंने उनकी मोहन से और महात्मा तक की यात्रा को दर्शाया है और ये दिखाने की कोशिश की है कि इंसान अगर चाहे तो अपने व्यक्तित्व में इतना निखार कर सकता है कि वो एक साधारण व्यक्ति से लेके एक महात्मा तक बन सकता है। और हमारे क्षेत्र के लोग यहाँ आकर ये देख रहे हैं, इससे मुझे खुशी हो रही है कि लोगों में एक संदेश जा रहा है कि वो भी अपने जीवन में बेहतर से बेहतर करने की कोशिश करें।
Arunachal Pradesh Chief Minister Pema Khandu, along with Union Minister Kiren Rijiju and Bollywood actor Randeep Hooda, now they've celebrated Gandhi Jayanti as well by joining the soldiers from the Indian National Army and the ITBP in Mago Chuna village, the last village on the Indo-China border. Along this extreme high altitude region, viewers, the soldiers have marked the occasion with great excitement and enthusiasm, enjoying the presence of actor Randeep Hooda as well. This event featured the singing of various Bollywood classics along with dancing alongside the soldiers, with the Chief Minister Khandu and other dignitaries leading the celebration by offering floral tributes and Shraddhanjalis to Mahatma Gandhi. This unique gathering highlighted the spirit of unity and patriotism in honoring Gandhi's legacy.
मागो जैसी जगह पे आज यहाँ पर इतने सारे जो लोग दिग्गज लोग यहाँ पर और कमांडिंग ऑफिसर्स, आप सभी का आज के इस विराम श्री गुरबख्श सिंह जी भी हमारे बीच विराजमान है।
This is my first visit outside Assam airport, Guwahati airport to the northeast, and I'm really taken aback that we've got such a beautiful part of our country which is there for us and to visit and to enjoy. And I've really enjoyed dancing with the troops. They are protecting us from the Tibetan on the Tibetan-China border. And it was real morale boosting for me to see them so happy in such rough terrain. And ironically, today is Gandhi Jayanti, and I've just finished a movie on Veer Savarkar, whose ideology was not ahimsa but hinsa. And that's what I was feeling here, that with ahimsa you cannot protect our borders. You need hinsa for the other person to know that if you mess with us, we will mess back with you.
आप सबको बहुत, ये आपकी मर्जी है, लेकिन हम तो ये कहेंगे कि गाड़ी ना खरीदें बहुत ज्यादा।
Today's primetime news hour is all about Bapu. We all know the entire country is honoring Mahatma Gandhi on this Gandhi Jayanti, paying tribute to his enduring legacy. A special program has been organized at Rajghat today in Delhi to commemorate Bapuji, with people of all the religions in attendance. Many celebrities have gathered to pay their respects, including President Draupadi Murmu, who arrived at Rajghat to offer floral tributes on the 154th birth anniversary of our Bapu. Notably, today also marks the birth anniversary of Lal Bahadur Shastri. And after honoring Gandhiji, the President proceeded to Lal Bahadur Samadhi Sthal at Vijay Ghat to pay her respects there as well. Meanwhile, Chief Minister of Rajasthan Ashok Gehlot also paid his floral tribute to Mahatma Gandhi on his birth anniversary as the nation celebrates him as the father of the nation today. On this significant occasion, Gehlot extended his greetings, emphasizing that Gandhiji's, or lovingly Bapuji's, legacy and contributions will be remembered for centuries to come. His remarks highlighted the enduring impact of Gandhi's principles on the contemporary modern Indian society and beyond.
गांधी जयंती की उपलक्ष्य में सबको शुभकामनाएं। गांधी जी को तो सदियों तक याद किया जाएगा, अनंत काल तक। वो ऐसा व्यक्तित्व था, ऐसा महापुरुष था जिसने देश को, दुनिया को संदेश दे दिया हो, और जिसके बर्थडे को, जन्म दिवस को अगर पूरी दुनिया अंतर्राष्ट्रीय अहिंसा दिवस के रूप में मना रही हो, तो आप सोच सकते हो कि हमें और हमारे मुल्क को गर्व होना चाहिए कि हमारे अपने गांधी दुनिया के हर कोने कोने के अंदर याद किए जाते हैं। ये हमारे देश का मान सम्मान दुनिया में बढ़ाता भी है। तो उस जयंती पे जब सब इकट्ठे होते हैं तो घर महसूस होता है। इस मौके पर तो हर व्यक्ति को प्रेरणा लेनी चाहिए कि जो उनका मार्ग था, संदेश था, उसको आत्मसात करें।
Well, the nation remembers beloved Bapu today, and this particular Gandhi Jayanti happens to be extra special. And like I told you right at the starting of the show, this particular Gandhi Jayanti is extra special, viewers, because on this particular Gandhi Jayanti, India has successfully completed 10 years of the Swachhata Abhiyan program with a clean sweep. And that is why Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has also today actively participated in a cleanliness drive as part of the Swachhata Hi Seva Hai campaign, emphasizing the ultimate importance of cleanliness, hygiene and sanitation in our country. Engaging with the young budding students, he encouraged them to embrace Gandhiji's principles of hygiene and social responsibility, aiming to inspire the younger generation of our country to take ownership of their environment. This initiative not only honors Gandhi's legacy, but also aims to delve into the broader impact of cleanliness on public health and community well-being.
स्वच्छ अभियान का प्रगति और उत्थान का जीवन के हर पहलू में श्रमदान करें।
स्वच्छता से क्या क्या फायदे होते हैं?
सर, हमें कोई बीमारी नहीं हो सकती उससे, हमेशा हम साफ रहेंगे उससे। और हमारा देश अगर साफ रहेगा तो और सबको ज्ञान मिलेगा कि हर जगह साफ रखना है।
शौचालय अगर नहीं होता है तो क्या होता है?
बीमारियां फैलती हैं।
बीमारियां फैलती। देखिए, पहले का समय जब बिल्कुल था 100 में से 100 जिसके घर में शौचालय नहीं है, टॉयलेट नहीं, तो खुले में जाते थे और सारी बीमारी का कारण वो बन जाता था। और उसमें सबसे ज्यादा ट्रस्ट माताओं बहनों को होता है, बेटियों को होता है। जब से हमने स्वच्छ भारत अभियान चलाया तो स्कूलों में टॉयलेट बनाए, सबसे पहले बच्चियों के लिए अलग बनाए, और उसका एक परिणाम हुआ कि आज बच्चियों का ड्रॉप आउट रेट बहुत कम है। बच्चियां स्कूल में पढ़ रही हैं, तो स्वच्छता का फायदा हुआ कि नहीं हुआ? आज किस किस का जन्म जयंती है? हाँ, और दूसरा
लाल बहादुर शास्त्री।
लाल बहादुर शास्त्री। अच्छा, आप में से कोई योगा करते हैं? अरे वाह।
Meanwhile, Dravid Munnetra Kazham MP Kanimozi Karunanidhi has also hoisted the Indian national flag on a 100-foot flagpole in Thuthukudi Municipal Corporation during the celebration of Gandhi Jayanti. This act not only commemorated the birth anniversary of Bapu but also symbolized unity and patriotism in the community. The event was obviously marked by the presence of local leaders and citizens, reflecting the spirit of nationalism and respect for the country's values as inspired by Bapu's teachings.
மாண்புமிகு சமூக நலன் மற்றும் மகளிர் உரிமைத்துறை அமைச்சர் அவர்களையும், மதிப்பிற்குரிய மாவட்ட ஆட்சித்தலைவர் அவர்களையும், வணக்கத்துக்குரிய தூத்துக்குடி மாநகராட்சியின் மேயர் அவர்களையும், துணை மேயர் அவர்களையும் வருக வருக.
இருக்கக்கூடிய நண்பர்களே, மாணவர்களே, உங்கள் அத்தனை பேருக்கும், மாநகராட்சி அலுவலர்களே, உங்கள் அத்தனை பேருக்கும் என்னுடைய வணக்கத்தை, வாழ்த்துக்களை, காந்தி ஜெயந்தி வாழ்த்துக்களை நான் தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். இந்த நிகழ்ச்சி
Today, the entire nation lovingly remembers the beloved Bapu on his birth anniversary, celebrating his legacy in Puri, Odisha. Famous sand artist Sudarshan Patnaik has unveiled an inspiring sand sculpture of Bapuji, incorporating the message of Swachhata Hi Seva Hai. The artwork also depicted Prime Minister Modi ji holding a broom in his hand, promoting cleanliness and sanitation. Now, this creative expression, viewers, not only honors Gandhian values but also serves as a call to action for a cleaner India. Viewers, before we wrap up this special primetime news hour on Bapu, as the nation remembers the beloved Bapu, I want you to find a teenager in India and ask this: who gave India independence? They'll probably say Mahatma Gandhi. And then also ask them, how did India get independence? They'll probably say non-violence. Well, these answers are not wrong at all, but they are not 100% right either. India's independence was a result of many things: hundreds of characters, multiple ideologies, and of course some rub of the green, if you know what I mean. To say that non-violence gave us freedom is probably an oversimplification. But don't get me wrong, it is correct also. One of many in our history. In fact, almost 8 decades have passed since those events. But even today, things are a little hazy. Many questions still remain unanswered. Some questions are too uncomfortable to raise in the first place. Doesn't mean we should be shying away from raising them. Questioning our past is a sign of a mature and an evolving democracy. So that's what we are also trying to do today. On the eve of Gandhi Jayanti, the day Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born, and someone who later on went ahead to be known as Mahatma Gandhi. Looking at 4 questions from India's independence movement, we know what the history books say. Let's now see what actually happened. Time for a flashback. Question number 1 is probably the most obvious, but also at the same time uncomfortable to raise. What made Britain leave India? Gandhi's non-violence, or was it the Indian National Army? Both men had a different strategy, Bose and Gandhi. Gandhi used non-violence to launch the Quit India movement in 1942. The very next year, Bose revived the Indian National Army. The difference was evidently clear. Gandhi asked Britain to quit India. Bose said, "I will make them quit India." Who succeeded in the end? And who is the right person to answer that? No one. Well, in 1944, Gandhi offered Britain one choice. He said, "We will stop the civil disobedience, but on one condition. Give us immediate independence." Gandhi fought for the independence of India. Lord Wavell was the viceroy at the time. He completely rejected the offer though. He said it wasn't even a starting point for a discussion. Bose, though, at that point had more success. His Indian National Army lost the Second World War. He himself died in 1945. But what happened next galvanized India. From the late 1945, soldiers of the Indian National Army were put on trial. They had fought for Imperial Japan. Now Britain wanted its revenge. It was the worst possible plan. All of India united in support of the INA soldiers. Servicemen elsewhere took inspiration from them. During the trials, a massive naval mutiny broke out in Mumbai. Almost 20,000 sailors and 78 ships were involved. Similar revolts happened in Chennai and Pune. Riots broke out in Karachi and Kolkata. The British were shaken. Well, they could handle civil disobedience with the army. But if the army itself revolted, they were helpless. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar realized this. And this is what he said in 1955. And today I want to quote him. I think the British had come to the conclusion that if they were to rule India, then the only basis on which they would rule was the maintenance of the British Army, unquote. Just one problem though. The British Army was devastated by 1946. They lost 384,000 soldiers in the Second World War. They were 21,000 billion pounds in debt. So using British troops to hold on to India was definitely out of the question. They neither had the manpower nor the money. So what did they do? They packed up and they left. India wasn't the only country to benefit this way. Britain left Jordan in 1946. They left Myanmar in 1948. Ceylon or Sri Lanka in 1948. Palestine also in 1948. So the global trend at that time was decolonization. The only question is, what accelerated it? Clement Attlee was the British Prime Minister during this time. Years later, he talked about why he agreed to Indian independence. He gave many reasons, but the main one was this: the erosion of loyalty among the armed forces. The British could not trust them anymore, so their best option was to leave the country. Now, full disclosure, Attlee's comments were not made in public. He said what he did during a private chat with Justice P.B. Chakrabarti. He was the acting governor of West Bengal, but these comments make one thing clear. Britain did not just leave India because they had a change of heart or because non-violence appealed to their conscience. They left because it was not viable to stay in India anymore. Of course, along with Gandhian long-standing movement of non-violence and also the Quit India movement. They had no means whatsoever to control India's 300 million restive population. Now let's move to question number 2. Why did Gandhi oppose Bose's politics? It is clear that he did. Gandhi tried his best to stop Bose's election as Congress president in 1939. When Bose did win, Gandhi called it a personal defeat. Once again, it was a matter of ideology, an ideology that Bapu strongly believed in. The ideology of not harming anyone, the ideology of non-violence, the ideology of fighting for what is right without harming anyone. However, Bose, on the other hand, wanted swift independence. He feared that Gandhi might settle for something less, maybe a dominion status. These differences led to a rivalry. Gandhi did not come out well in this episode. Historians have called him quote-unquote petty and given to machinations. Bose's radical tactics got him arrested, but in 1941 he fled British India. He began rallying for independence abroad. The idea was pretty simple: your enemies' enemies are your friends. Using that logic, he reached out to the Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. The British were livid. They called Bose quote-unquote a collaborator. The next year, in 1942, the Quit India movement was declared by Gandhi. Bose supported it. And Bose supported it because he knew that this movement would have the drive, the power and the momentum to make the British quit India. He called it India's epic struggle started and led by Gandhiji. But the sentiment was never mutual. Bose set up a provisional government of Free India in 1943. Sort of like a government in exile. It was recognized by around 9 countries and all of them allied with Japan and Germany. Gandhi and Congress never embraced Bose's government or the army, at least not during the war. And why was that? The Congress was ideologically on Britain's side. They never agreed to support the war. Remember, Gandhi or Bapu was always about the non-violence. He was always about never supporting war. He was always against harming anyone. But they did want to see Hitler defeated. Also, there was a power struggle within the movement. Gandhi liked Nehru more. Nehru was the starry-eyed pupil with utter devotion, and Bose, on the other hand, was rather rebellious. He challenged Gandhi's leadership of the party. Which politician likes that? The Congress's attitude towards Bose and the INA would change, but much later, after the war. And in fact, Nehru was one of the lawyers during the INA trials. Many historians have said this was a political decision. The trials had captured public imagination, and suddenly the Congress wanted a piece of it. Question number 3. How did World War II shape India's freedom struggle? Well, we told you how it devastated Britain, but it's not all. Around 2.5 million Indians fought in the war, in Europe, in Africa, in Asia. And once the war ended, they came back home. By 1947, only 800,000 men were part of the army. The rest had either been killed or immobilized. Imagine that, from 2.5 million to 800,000. We are talking about highly trained fighters here. Many of them joined self-defense units and volunteer groups. They even trained their fellow Indians, but service abroad also meant one thing. These soldiers were now exposed to new ideas, things like liberty, freedom and democracy. They had fought the trenches for someone else's right. So once back home, they began to think, what about our rights? This led to a big push towards independence. Even Bose's army was made up of these soldiers. Thousands of them had served in Southeast Asia. Japan defeated and jailed them. These prisoners of war became the core of the Indian National Army, and now we come to the final question. How did Jawaharlal Nehru become India's first Prime Minister? Was his election unanimous? Well, far from it. In 1946, the Congress held an internal election. It was time to choose the next president. He or she would also be India's interim Prime Minister, so the stakes were high. Gandhiji's pick was clear right from the beginning. He wanted Nehru to take charge. And why was that? Gandhi believed Nehru was better suited to negotiate with the British. He was, after all, a Cambridge graduate. He rattled off in smooth English. Plus, he was better known abroad, but Nehru needed support from the party's state committees. Only then could he get elected. He had challenges too, the likes of Sardar Patel and Acharya Kripalani. Do you know what the results were, however? 12 out of the 15 state committees nominated Patel, 3 of them completely abstained. So none of them nominated Jawaharlal Nehru. Gandhi broke this news to his protege. Apparently, there was stunned silence from the other side. Nehru was never going to be number 2, so Gandhi asked Sardar Patel to withdraw from the race. For whatever reasons he did, Patel was considered a good administrator, also a people's leader. He was very close to the grassroots. Yet, it was Nehru who became the first Prime Minister of the nation. The rest, as they say, is history, or at least one version of it. Nehru would then go on to become the longest serving India's Prime Minister. Patel died in 1950. Viewers, I want you to give this special episode a thought. The idea behind this episode might seem to be a little complicated to you, but it is not. The gist is simple, and it is this. History is not always about right or wrong. Historical figures are not always heroes and villains. They are humans, like us. Imperfect people who did what they thought was right. Did Gandhi or Bapuji not love his nation? Yes, he did. Did Gandhi not want what's best for our nation? Indisputably, he did. Did Gandhi not fight in his own way for the rights of India? Yes, absolutely, by all means, he did. Did Gandhi not fight tooth and nail for our independence? By all means, he did. Did Bose and Gandhi not see eye to eye? Well, yes, but despite all their differences, it was Bose who first called Gandhi the father of India. It was Gandhi who called Bose a patriot of patriots. Now, viewers, you may agree or disagree on Bapu's ideologies, but one thing unites all of us, the whole nation, to Bapu: his dream of an independent India. We often forget that our freedom fighters were also politicians, and they were ambitious. They had to look out for their career, and sometimes they sabotaged each other. It is important that we accept and embrace every part of our freedom struggle, the violent and Bapu's non-violent, the latter which eventually led us to an independent India, and also the indifferent. Gandhi, or lovingly Bapuji as we call him, all of us, we lovingly call him that. Gandhi turned India's freedom struggle into a peaceful people's movement. He took independence to every Indian village And at the same time, he also worked to undermine his own position in the party. Bapu chose to take the backstage and stay modest about all that he did for our nation. We need to accept that. We need to accept that this is true. And that is the hallmark of a mature democracy. I shall see you tomorrow once again on Primetime News Hour. Until then, Jai Hind, Namaskar, and keep watching CVR English.
ऐनक पहने लाठी पकड़े चलते थे वो शान से, जालिम कांपे थर 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 सुनकर उनका।
That brings me to the close of this edition of Primetime News Hour. Keep watching CVR English for more news and updates.